guys, welcome to this episode of Buildworks Blockman, episode 8. So in this episode, I'm going to be talking about how to structure your book and just tips in general of books. I've been making books since I started the channel and far below that. And of course, when you always start out, it's always a little it's a little tricky, and the more books you write, of course, the better it gets generally. Uh, I'm sure my first book was just no, just no. And so, what is this episode making a book? Well, let me give my example of The Storybook Traveler. Now, The Storybook Traveler is about a guy named Kent Stevens, okay? Now he has to chase after a bad guy. Classic, iconic story. But then the twist is that Joshua, the villain named Joshua, he's a very interesting bad guy, dude. He basically jumps in multiple different books and destroys them. And so Ken Stevens, the main character of the story, has to go and jump into books and find out, and actually, let's say if he jumped into Harry Potter or something in the Storybook Traveler, then he would meet the characters and have to feel. But then Ken Stevens would have to sort of try to save Hogwarts, if that makes sense. And against the villain Joshua, who's a very different kind of a villain in a very unique kind of way. And this is the same kind of thing with the story. I don't know where it is, but this is the same thing with the story Thieves. If you read those series, then it's kind of like that, my story. And so yeah, it's like a kind of a travel story. So how do you make that good? Well, I mean, you introduce new ideas that people have never thought of before. You think, what would the people want? I mean, what would the people think? It's just entertaining, or not even entertaining, but enjoyable to read. And I'm sure those big names, big authors like Stuart Gibbs probably, even like J.K. Rowling and stuff, those authors, they have to realize what actually would make a good story and what doesn't, and have the feeling to create something that is just enjoyable and right in a sense. And so yeah, another step is that introduce new ideas could be very interesting. And also, just in general, make it your own, if that makes sense. Don't always copy what people do. Maybe have the same idea that people do, but don't copy that idea. Make it your own and make it unique in its own way. That's what you have to know about creating books and stories that make people want to read. Like, what's another example? Like His Dark Materials, if you read that series by Philip Pullman. Maybe it starts out slow or something, but that book gets into such great detail and is fascinating in its own unique kind of a way. Now, I guess it's somewhat similar to some stories, probably, but then again, it's still unique in its own way, which is cool. And so, yeah. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this quick episode of Buildworks Blockman, episode 8, and I'll see you guys next week.